If you have a big family, you already know the problem. It's not that your home is too small. Sometimes it is, but that's not really the root of it. The real problem is that most homes, the ones that get built by the millions every single year, were not designed for the way large families actually live. They were designed for a market, a demographic average, a floor plan that works adequately for everyone and exceptionally for no one. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, an open kitchen that bleeds into a living room that everyone is trying to use at the same time for completely different reasons. A garage that's technically a two-car but realistically fits one car, and a decade of accumulated life. A backyard that's either too small to matter or too large to maintain without it becoming a project. And big families know this friction intimately, and a growing number of them are deciding they're done tolerating it. They're building instead. And the layout they keep landing on, the one that solves the specific, layered problems of large family living better than anything else currently available, is the dog-trot Barndominium. Here's why. Before we get into the layout itself, it's worth understanding what large families are actually running away from. Because this isn't just about square footage. If it were, people would simply buy bigger traditional homes and call it a day. The issue is deeper than that. Traditional home design, even at larger square footages, is fundamentally built around a single social zone. One living room, one kitchen, one dining area. Everyone converges on the same spaces at the same times, and those spaces were never engineered to absorb that kind of simultaneous, multi-generational, multi-activity pressure. A teenager trying to study while younger kids are watching television. A parent trying to take a work call while dinner is being made 6 feet away. Grandparents visiting for a week who have nowhere genuinely quiet to retreat to. That doesn't feel like they've been sent to a spare bedroom like an afterthought. Guests who have to walk through the master bedroom wing to get to the bathroom in the middle of the night. These aren't dramatic problems, but they are constant ones. And constant friction, the low-level, daily kind that never fully resolves, is quietly exhausting. In a way that big, singular problems are not. It accumulates. It wears on relationships. It makes a home feel smaller than its square footage suggests. That's because the usable social space is always contested. That is what large families are abandoning. Not the square footage. The design logic that puts everyone in the same place with nowhere meaningful to go. The dog-trot Barndominium solves this at the architectural level, which is the only level where it can actually be solved. Here's the layout. 2 separate living wings connected by a central open breezeway that runs through the middle of the structure. Each wing is a fully functional, self-contained zone. The breezeway between them is covered, shaded, and protected. A shared outdoor living space that connects both sides without forcing either side to pass through the other. In practice, large families are using this layout in a way that is almost obvious once you see it. One wing becomes the active, social, while high-energy zone. Open kitchen, dining area, great room. The spaces where life gets loud and communal and full. The other wing becomes the quiet, private, low-stimulation zone. Bedrooms, bathrooms, a home office or study room. The spaces where people go to decompress, sleep, concentrate, or simply exist without being in the middle of everything. The breezeway is the hinge between the two. It is shared space that belongs to everyone, but it doesn't belong to either wing. It's where the family gathers when gathering is intentional. Outdoor meals, evening conversations, the kind of relaxed communal time that happens by choice rather than by forced proximity. That separation is not about division. It's about giving every member of a large family a legitimate, designed place to be, depending on what they need in any given moment. And that is something a traditional floor plan, regardless of its square footage, almost never provides. Let's talk about the multi-generational dimension specifically, because this is where the dog-trot layout does something that no other residential design handles as cleanly. The fastest growing driver of large home purchases right now is multi-generational living. Aging parents moving in with adult children. Adult children who can't yet afford to move out staying longer. Grandparents who want to be close to grandchildren without disappearing into a nursing home. These arrangements are becoming more common, more necessary, and more permanent than previous generations expected them to be. And the tension in these arrangements is almost always the same. 2 households trying to coexist in a space that was designed for one. If the older generation feeling like guests in someone else's home, the younger generation losing the autonomy and privacy that a functioning household requires. Everyone making compromises that nobody fully agreed to, in a space that forces those compromises structurally. The dog trot layout eliminates that tension by design. You assign one wing to the primary family and one wing to the grandparents or the adult child or the in-law. Each side has its own entrance, its own private spaces, its own sense of territory. The breezeway connects them in a way that is open and welcoming and communal, a place where the two households genuinely share life, without either side ever needing to walk through the other's private space unannounced. That's not a small thing. Thus, that's the difference between a multi-generational living arrangement that works and one that slowly unravels. And families who have made this transition consistently say that the layout itself, the physical separation combined with the shared breezeway, is what makes the arrangement sustainable long-term. Now let's talk about what this costs, because cost is always the conversation that determines whether any of this is actually accessible. Here is where the news gets genuinely good for large families. A 3,500 to 4,000 square foot dog trot barndominium, large enough to comfortably house a multi-generational family with real separation and real privacy on both sides, typically comes in at a construction cost between $220,000 and $320,000 depending on finish level, location, and site conditions. A traditional home of comparable square footage in most markets would cost between $500,000 and $750,000 to build from scratch. More in high-cost areas. And that traditional home, for all that money, would still give you the single-zone design problem we talked about earlier. It would still put everyone in the same contested spaces with no architectural solution to the friction. The dog trot barndominium gives you more functional space, a design that actually solves the problem, and a cost basis that in many cases is less than half of the conventional alternative. The financial case for large families is not subtle. It is one of the clearest value propositions in residential construction right now. And the equity position that comes with building at that cost, in a home that appraises at or above conventional comparable values, means the financial intelligence of this decision compounds over time in a way that simply buying a large traditional home cannot match. There's one more thing worth saying before we close, because it doesn't get mentioned enough in these conversations. Large families who build dog trot barndominiums consistently report something that surprises them. They expect to love the layout. They expect the functionality to deliver what it promised. What they don't expect is how much the home changes the quality of their daily relationships. When there is a designed place for everyone to be, when the teenager has a quiet wing to study in, like when the grandparents have a private entrance and a space that genuinely feels like theirs, when the couple has a master bedroom that isn't in the traffic path of the entire household, when the breezeway becomes the place the whole family gravitates to on a warm evening, because it's beautiful and comfortable and nobody has to share it with a television, the low-level daily friction disappears. Not because the family changed, because the space stopped working against them and started working for them. That is what good design does at its best. It doesn't just shelter people, it changes how they experience each other. And for large families, who have spent years tolerating a floor plan that was never built for them, that change is not a small upgrade, it is the whole point. But if this kind of content is helping you think through what your family actually needs from a home, if it's giving you a clearer picture of what's possible and what it costs, then subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around giving you the real information so you can make the decision that's right for your family. We'll see you in the next one.